I killed 2 guys, and then in Skyrim, and then I thought it was wrong to leave their dead bodies lying around because there was a little girl. There's this little girl that kept looking at him and kept going up near him. I was like, I don't want to see this little girl, so I stripped them naked and threw them into their water supply. I thought it would be like...
Imagine if there was...
But I thought their bodies would disappear, but they never did. So every time I go back, I look in like the flowing water, and I'm like, people are probably going to get sick from this.
You still see like a leg just hanging out.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow listeners from the...
Shut up, Luke. I wanted to bring us in today, you
sorry.
jerk.
Oh,
Yeah, this again.
Yeah, this
That's what's
every
happening.
episode. People
like-
listening like, stop.
stop partying!
I just want to listen to people.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Oh, am I talking now?
Come on, bring
Well,
us
you're the
in.
one that just had a little bitch fit about it.
Yeah, well,
Also,
we didn't even discuss it. It's bloody...
Hang on, this is
Luke
this
presses
is
the
awkward.
record button.
Yeah.
This is awkward. Do you not use the handle when you're drinking tea? Reese?
Sometimes, but like
No.
when I'm cold,
You just
I'll-
pick that up then.
Yeah.
Grabbing, yeah.
I'm a fucking badass. All right.
Just
Too
holding
hot.
onto the actual
Too
cup.
hot.
Like I said, Doug, your house is cold. All right. This is how I warm myself
Last
up.
week, too hot, you said. This week, too cold.
This is just right.
Welcome to the Trusty Crowbar.
Lucas.
Oh, hold on. What? You're still going, eh?
Let him.
Oh, my
Don't
gosh.
have such long
A
pauses.
podcast about gaming. I'm
He's
Douglas
utilising
Bright.
time. I'm Reese Whittingslow.
And I'm Lucas Whittingslow.
There you go. Now it's your go.
This is episode 86, and it is... We're recording on Monday, the 13th of October.
Yes, we are.
You've given that away?
Yep.
Monday. You always used to try... Oh, it's Wednesday.
Well, it's out Wednesday.
Yeah, it is. But now we've lied for so long, and now we've been caught.
But clearly, when they see a photo on the internet of me from Wednesday and my beard's like down to here, they're like,
Oh yeah, because you just
You're
wizarded
so
it out.
popular as well. People stalk you on the internet.
Lucas.
The more,
It doesn't.
the more popular you are, the longer your beard becomes as well.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hence why
You don't
not
have-
very long,
Yeah.
and hence why me and Douglas have no beard.
Damn it, we're less popular
Can't
than
even grow
Lucas.
it either. It's- What am I doing here? This is
You're jerking your
big.
dick.
This is big.
Oh, Dick Chan.
Oh well.
So-
Games.
yeah, video games.
What was that? Video game. Created it again.
I played
Stroke Simulator.
a fair bit more of Diablo.
Yep. So I only found out that
Diablo.
like Luke's never said this ever on the podcast, but you can play it with other people on the screen.
What do you mean?
Pretty sure
So it's
I
like co-op with
Oh,
like
to local co-op.
yeah.
And you've been playing with
So
your
hence
wife.
why
Yes.
he said when he always said he was playing with his wife,
Thought you,
said sister-in-law.
I actually thought she was just sitting beside you.
That's
and you were
exactly
like,
what I thought.
co-op.
I thought she's like, just go over there.
Oh, she's the passive
She sounds like a witch too.
passive player. You know, the ones which always
X.
Square. One. Circle. Strafe.
Who even uses the word strafe anymore? What does strafe mean?
That's when you do the little steps.
steps to the left and step to the right.
Because that was a big deal when they brought that out. When games would... You used to turn, and then they brought out strafing.
Yeah.
And I'm shifting side to side.
I would
for
call that
viewers.
sidestepping,
Yeah.
It is sidestep.
but strafing does sound quite cooler and easier to say.
So, talking about strafing, like watching
Oh, we're going in depth
people
in this.
play like first-person shooters, right?
Yeah.
There's two distinct types of players that I've seen. One of them knows how
Good
to strafe,
players and
and
bad.
one does not know how to strafe.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating watching someone that doesn't know how to strafe because they'll
My
walk
girlfriend
up
or
to go
any
around
other
the
person in the
corner.
world.
They'll walk up and then they'll turn as they're going around the corner. So they do this like arc. Whereas
Yeah.
like as like you know a person that's played.
Oh,
video
you're an
games,
experienced gamer.
non-noobs.
an experienced strafer, okay? As you are going around corners, you tend to look around the corner first and start
so you
strafing
decide.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like a SWAT man.
Because it was really before the old corner peak system. That's all.
But that's all.
So, Luke
we
was-
need a new system. How about a corner pick system? We need that in our games. They had
I don't
that.
know
You
if
still
I
did
strafe
that.
as much
You did that
anymore.
in Quake all the time. You always did your side corner peek.
Yeah, I feel games used to be more difficult where you would have to, you'd be...
Put your whole body in the way. Yeah.
Trying to really just edge what I would... I always probably felt it was one eye when you could just see a little bit, and then where the enemy would just be waiting on the other side of the level, or like the open... I don't know what the best... Where you just sort of come to a new room and then there'd often be obstacles for them to be hiding behind.
Yeah.
And they'd say you'd pop your head. Probably the best example, I suppose, back from Half-Life sort of days where you come into the room and there was the military guys and that all of a sudden they're like, get him, and you're like, oh, damn it. As soon as you step, just get smoked. Especially by the automatic machine guns.
There was a period of time, before Half-Life and stuff, when enemy players on the screen didn't have line of sight. So I remember playing Doom and walking down corridors and stuff, and you would hear the monsters in the room notice you, go, "Rah!" And you're like, oh, shit, the monsters know where I am. I'm literally on the opposite side of a 4-foot wall, actually it's a bit taller. It's 4 foot deep, so you can't hear anything except the monsters heard you walking.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
That's what they do. Monsters have a sixth sense of where you are if you make a little noise.
There it is.
Well, that's what they do that in Destiny half the time as well. Because they'll always be flipping out, and then you get around the corner and they're just ready to start shooting you. Always happens. Freaking Destiny. You love Destiny, don't you, Doug?
I haven't played any yet.
Really?
Yeah. I've been waiting to play with someone.
How many times? You say this every single week.
But he doesn't message us ever and say, hey, let's play some Destiny.
Just been short on time.
That's it. I actually played Mordor. Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested in this.
Yep.
After I talk about Diablo. No.
What was your Diablo story?
Well, I noticed that
You were strafing.
some of the modern games that I tend to play now, the story elements part of video games, I tend to overlook now. I just play a game for...
Yeah, the same sometimes. Any big, probably AAA titles are the worst offenders, I think. Because the gameplay mechanics, it's all pretty engaging, and it coasts you along in such a linear path that any story is not even relevant.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm looking back, and when I try to not really reminisce, but bring up memories, not reminisce, of video games that I've played recently, I can't think back to the actual storyline too much. I can think back to elements in the game and certain things that have happened where I'm fighting baddies and something cool sort of happens.
This probably is your problem because most of the games you play are indie games.
No. I'm talking about literally the big
ones,
like Diablo, and that's why I'm bringing it back to Diablo 3, because most of the actual the story, I'm there and I'm listening to it, but I'm not taking much attention.
You're not engaged.
I'm not engaging. I'm
Is there
literally
that
I just
much
want
of
to
a
go kill
story in
monsters.
Diablo bot?
Because
it's a hack and slash.
I hope there is. I think there is, because I'm not listening to it. But then I'll get halfway through killing monsters in a land area, and my wife, I'll ask my wife. I'm like, okay, so what do we have to do? I really didn't listen, and she's like, I've got to go find the
Kill
head.
that guy.
Got to go find the head of Soldar. I'm like, oh, okay. Is it in a cave? Well, I guess so.
The game where I struggled, even though I probably should have been paying more attention, but mainly, I guess, because it was so dragged out, is any Elder... Is it Elder of the Scroll?
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scroll.
Elder of the Scrolls.
Elder of the Scroll.
Anyway,
mate, put in between other games,
Half.
of the life.
Batman of the Arkham City.
It's pretty good. It works.
Yeah, it's still
Anywho, I knew I was going to get smoked over that.
PlayStation of the 4.
But I struggle because you don't always know when you're on a primary quest mission. So it's or it'd be so long between main quest missions that I'm like, I don't know what's happening in the story.
Yeah.
I'm pick up the general gist of it, and I guess probably Fallout was the same when I played that. That sort of all just...
You sort of start forgetting about the main story or whatever's happening and just go, I just got to follow this arrow to this next quest.
Once
I
you
just got to complete all these 43 side quests that I have no idea how to fudge to finish.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if anyone's ever done a mod, and this would be a good idea if they haven't, where it just jams every story mission sequentially in to the game. Just like teleport you, bang, there you go, next mission, let's do it.
That's what I'm hoping The Witcher was going to do, but you telling me, Reese, that the video that I watched was just cut. Like, rather than, like, him, like, killing the thing in the tree, you know, like, stabbing the heart, and then basically, the video I watched stabbed at the heart of the tree, and then, like, walked out of the tree and zapped all the way back to the witches, and the story continued.
Yeah.
Okay? But you're telling me that's potentially not how the game's going to play.
No,
you'll have to walk all the way back. I'm going to get super
Or
bored.
you can just go to the map and fast travel.
I mean, like, I'm with
I don't-
Doug. I'm with Doug talking about.
I don't want the actual game to come out like that because I think that you'd end up playing that way more.
Because
But
sometimes,
imagine-
like, they would never do that in the game because sometimes you'd see a place, you'd be like, I don't want to, like, run around it now. I want to finish the mission and then explore.
Yeah.
we could have got
Whereas
the
you're just
end.
like, I'm just too lazy. I just want to go back and finish the
I
mission.
literally just want to watch.
Just not go to my map.
The video played out very much like a movie, and that entertains me. And that's how The Last of Us played out. It was action and then story and then.
Now, you know, at the conventions, all right?
Yeah.
They normally have a time slot that they have to
Yeah, I
make the
know.
videos for, so they probably cut them
Yeah, to
to
keep it
sync them
short.
all up together.
Especially a game like The Witcher, which is 300 times bigger
Yes.
than Skyrim.
Yes.
But I think it would work pretty well. Sort of faded to a mission complete. Bang, here's all the, you've got this much like XP and blah 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 blah, and also like hey, you can level up. Like it would totally break the I suppose what people like out of any of those open world games, that they're so continual and you have to do it all yourself. But imagine that it was just like, hey, bang, you can level up. Hey, do you want to fast track back to the next quest mission, or do you want to continue and explore?
So you pretty
that
much
would be a
want Link's Fairy just to be telling you what to do. She's like, hey!
No, I think
Listen.
it'd be cool to have both ways, or just in like an ultimate edition, just so I could fast track and play the story. Because like now I kind of do want to just play the story. I'm like, but I don't want to get caught up with all the other stuff. So
I'm exactly right there with you. Like my time is very limited to get through games, and I'm really excited about The Witcher. Okay, and I really like.
no, I'm going to be the same. It's like, but I've almost ignored it because I'm like, yep, been loving Skyrim, but just damn, I've left it so late, and now there's so much extra content that I almost don't want to sink time into it because there's so many other things I could be playing. But I kind of still want to play the story, even though I don't. Do people really go on about the story of
Well, I think I
Skyrim,
finished the
or is
sto-
it more about the game?
I think I finished the story and didn't know I finished the story.
Yeah.
I killed a dragon, a bad dragon, and then I could choose to kill a good dragon, but chose not to kill the good dragon. And I think that's the end of the main story.
Really? I still haven't finished the main story
No,
of Skyrim.
this is the first time. I'm a bit sad and a bit happy that all these new games on PS4 have come out and the next gen consoles. But because those games weren't coming out, I was playing all the
back
all the
catalog,
old games. Like I was just like, Skyrim's going
I remember you came in
and I
like,
bought Fallout
I need
3.
legendary Skyrim because I need to get through this before any good games actually
It
come
was
out.
a good time waste. So over 100 hours I put into it so far.
It's
So
been nearly a month. Oh, sorry. It's been nearly a year since PlayStation 4 came
yeah,
out.
like longer than a month.
Yeah, it is a little bit longer than a month. So.
Do you know the game I still want to play and finish, and I bring it up every so often? Damn Mass Effect 3.
Well, I was actually going to bring
No
up Mass
spoilers.
Effect.
I'm going to
Please.
just link a video to you of just all the
Might watch
endings.
I was going to bring up Mass Effect,
But I'm going to
that's-
call it something else.
the Mass Effect series are the only games that I know of that police are
pop
chasing.
coming.
Like, podcast is over. The cops are going to raid us in a sec. If you didn't hear the cop, sorry.
What's it called on Twitch where they do the fake, they're a terrorist, and then they bust them? Had you heard about that?
Yeah, yeah. With
And
someone...
then heaps of people...
Oh, swatting.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called? Swatting.
Swatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call
Because
it
they
the
send SWAT teams
team.
in.
But then,
Jesus.
unfortunately, a few
That's
people have
shit.
been done with, like, drugs and stuff at their house.
Yeah.
So while the cops are there,
It's like, well, it was worth it.
yeah.
No one's
So,
killing anyone. But
I
it was
can't
worth
remember
it.
which...
It cost the city $15,000.
We should look it up, which Twitcher it was, but someone quite popular. Bang. Twitcher.
Never
That's
heard
what-
that
yeah.
before.
It's good. I don't know if I've coined it or stole it from the internet.
Probably, I don't think you.
We should have been
We did.
writing down what we've been talking about.
I have. I've done it.
Oh, good
So
work.
anyway,
Digital.
back to Mass Effect. That's the only game series that I know that there are, instead of like easy, medium, hard mode, there's story mode, challenge mode, and expert mode or something like this. But story mode just cuts back a lot of like the action, and just it's like it says for those who just want to play the story,
Well, because it easily could. I think that with that game, sometimes I'm like, I just want to get to what's happening next in that story.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed was actually that for me, and then especially the early ones, because especially number 1, it becomes so grindy. I'm like, I really want to find out what's going on, but this is so damn grindy.
Yeah.
Like, how much does a game need to have action pieces and like fighting baddies for it to, be like bigger and better?
Yeah.
Like, does all the game, like, not every game needs like a lot of action pieces. Like we've seen the Walking Dead Telltale game, and that's literally just story and stuff.
Well, the bit
but I'm talking like big AAA ones like Mass Effect and like Destiny, pretty much.
Yeah.
Not Destiny. That's just literally just shooting things.
But if you think about, like, imagine if Mass Effect didn't have, like, big fight scenes and stuff. It'd be called Space Explorers.
Yeah.
Space Journalists.
The thing that
That's all it would be.
what was interesting as the
Would you like to
game
join my party? What do you do?
Yeah,
Travel and talk to other people. Yeah.
It would be pretty. It would be pretty.
This
fun.
is my favourite store in the Citadels.
I'd probably still play it, but
I'm from Galactic Newspaper.
Yeah.
But it's funny that it's so repetitive to think like, you've got the non-action sequences that are quite clearly non-action sequences, and then you have almost the corridor shooter aspect to it, and then of recent times they've brought out the bigger. Well, actually, there's a bit of a combo. There's like boss battles, which was weird in itself, and then they brought out, which I've only like. There seem to be some more Stanley kind of traditional AAA shooter stuff where you're like, yep, I'm just on the back of some turret shooting sort of business.
Yeah, just 5 minutes just mowing enemies.
Because I think that's only in the newer one that they've done that.
Yeah.
And then, it's just very, very clearly chunked up like that. But probably the more repetitive bit, apart from the story, was just the corridor shooting sections. So I guess it would be one that would be pretty easy to cut that out of the way, and
well,
just run along.
The other game, that I was thinking was The Last of Us. That literally is like amazing elements of story and interactivity, and then just corridor shooting.
But so many, I think, it's definitely that.
But
To be so immersed in that world, honestly, it needed that.
But that's
I know, but how much? I'm just trying to say, how much does there need to be to get yourself some?
I think Bioshock
a
works
sense of
the same way.
achievement. Yeah. Do you have to kill?
Oh, you're saying what's the ratio?
Yeah. I'm interested in thinking
but
about
it's a fine line between I'm sick of just killing waves of enemies.
Yeah.
But in a world with all that stuff, it makes sense to make the world seem like it's populated by what you fear and what you should join in those games, if you think about it. In Last of Us, you need to know that clickers can kill you. You need to know that there's all the rebels and stuff that are out there to destroy you. In Mass Effect, you need to know that there's races of aliens that are going around destroying the world. And if you travel that far in the galaxy and you don't come across anything that tries to kill you, and it's just like you can just go, hey, don't shoot me, I'm a journalist, then that wouldn't make the game fun at all.
Yeah, definitely the non-shooting elements have probably given all three, those games are all sort of AAA stuff. And like I said, I honestly feel Bioshock fits a similar, the way that it's cut up is the same. And I think I've talked about this another time where you walk through a corridor section or a set piece, I guess, of a level, especially with Last of Us, where you're like, yep, I know I'm coming back through here later, and I know there's going to be enemies because that's clearly a rock that's just the right height to hide behind.
There's health packs right there that I don't need right now, so
You do that a little bit less in Mass Effect, but there's definitely some levels that are set up that way where you make it all the way to the end bit where you end up then in a final room where some story section happens and that sets off being the fighting, and then you pretty much have to backtrack your way through the whole section that you just walked through. That was pretty standard that happened a lot. But I think even though it was predictable, probably a pretty good way. Almost, I guess, the way I see it, where it's a good formula, I guess, that works. given I've never seen the show, but is, say, like Doctor Who pretty, like, is that a pretty standard formula episode to episode? Like any good
Bit
TV
of fun,
shows,
bit of
like
action,
yeah, like they sort of
like, I
they
know
break
what
them
you're
up
trying
and
to say,
they
but-
become predictable, but not fun. And then, but like you said, it's the element of having all the aspects cut together. But it seems a bit new, like that. Not every game used to do that, and they're doing it differently now.
Well, I wonder if this generation we're going to see at least a change, or just some games that go less into like full-on action combat and more into like a dynamic type.
Well, that's
thing.
where
Like
Walking Dead or what's the other ones that we like?
The Wolf Among Us.
Oh no, sorry, not by those guys. By that they do all the motion capture stuff with
Heavy Rain and all that.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain
and what was the
Beyond
last
Two
one?
Souls.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
obviously
I-
they've
yeah,
went
that-
the other way, and they're trying just purely story driven with action elements, but still never direct combat.
Yeah,
It really depends
like
on what
that.
game it is, but like Shadow of Mordor is a game that there's more action in it, and you'll be doing that way more than what there is with
But
story.
it doesn't seem to be, from the limited bit, obviously it's not a God of War, is it? It's not a
No.
it's not a crazy version of that.
It's very similar to like Assassin's Creed and Batman.
Yeah.
Both of them.
But
Yeah, actually, I did read
it's
that.
Mordor,
That's
Assassin,
how the
Man.
combat, like,
Yeah.
it feels really heavy when you punch and hit it. Like when you get a combo on someone and working within the game mechanics,
Yeah.
it actually feels
Very
like you
Batman-ish,
deserve
yeah.
to beat them.
Yeah, it has been compared to Batman quite a lot.
Yeah,
that I've read.
the whole fighting is very similar to Batman,
The,
except there's way more people in Batman.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Way more enemies.
Then orcs. There's not very many orcs in the game.
Oh, no, sorry, there's way... other way around.
like-
There's more orcs because they want you to die more often.
I was thinking, like, seriously, in my head then, right, I was thinking, okay, there's like 10 enemies normally max in a Batman game.
Yeah.
I'm like, massive battlefield, Middle Earth, 4.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
No,
4
no.
orcs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, how have they
Other-
broken this down on the battlefield? So it's just you fighting like 3 guys, and in the background you can see like 400,000 people
it's
fighting.
like- no,
but you're
it's-
like, I'm just fighting over here, guys.
It's like a racer. They're like in there. They're just like two sort of
Oh, yeah.
images that are like. It's like one human person going. And
They,
the other one,
um,
No, old school fighting games where, so you happen to be fighting in a circle of death where there's all enemies around you.
Yeah.
But you can just beat these 4 and that's all that happens.
Yeah,
Is
they're
it
just like, no,
basically-
stay away from him.
It's basically just a Street Fighter game, like Middle Earth Street Fighter, and you're like surrounded by enemies, and they're all just like,
No.
fight.
Actually, I realised the reason that I totally ignored every time I seen the name of this pop up, because I was like, great, another movie tie-in game. Or like, not necessarily movie, but like just a franchise, or it's an existing IP and they've just put it into game form. I'm like, well, I guess Batman's probably one of the better examples in recent history. But there's not a lot of good games that have come out based off something else. And especially because there's so much backstory of Lord of the Rings and people are so passionate about it. I'm like, I just couldn't see how they would have done a job that was anywhere near cool. But I didn't realise that they've seemed to have done something so unique.
very
Has everyone seen, actually quickly, while I'm yakking, all the YouTube business that they've been copping flack over?
On what?
So they've given out the pre-release versions of the game, and then the original contract that was handed specifically only to YouTube content creators was that the game had to be presented in a positive light, and that they had to specifically talk about the Nemesis system. However, someone else sort of come back later that was YouTube guy, and he was like, yeah, he's like, that's just the generic contract they send out. If you're not sort of man enough to say, no, I'm not going to do that, well, that's up to yourself. But I guess it put the pressure on some of the smaller guys that might be like, well, I'll take the game and just say good stuff about it. But that was interesting. They copped a bit of negative flack over that. And the other,
Considering it's like a standard one, but it's sort of... because it's an underdog game as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the games that...
who made this game? Does anyone know?
Yeah, it was Monolith.
Oh, that's right.
The guys that made...
Another game?
Definitely. I feel like Monolith, they've been around for a while though. I remember those from like my early game days, like my high school gaming.
They it is a really cool game, but like
And you've
when
played
I
a little
first
bit.
got it, I think I played it for like 5 hours straight after I got home.
Oh, whoa.
Probably 3 hours in, I started getting a massive headache. But for some reason, I just kept wanting to push through it. I'm like, my headache's getting worse. But I'm just like, I can keep playing it, but I just gotta keep playing.
Yeah,
Is
they made,
Myers-
they made Fear and the Condemned
Oh,
games.
that's right.
Oh, yeah, we did say that last week.
Now, is my assumption there wouldn't be a lot of story and it's fair? Is it sort of just conquer a map style thing? Like do a fight, conquer the next section? Is that sort of how it works?
No, like you do keep running back and forth from the map a lot because there's always... like you get to kill all the actual enemies on the actual game, like they'll always have like a notice to say that they're trying to prove their strength against like these big giant dog creatures, or they're trying to attack one of the other orcs and then take over their role.
This game sounds like an iOS game, like the game where the free to play something of Kingdom sort of game.
Oh,
where
you're selling
like,
it.
You know, no, as in the fighting other like the orcs
Like
are challenging.
Trying to keep you engaged in like something that's going on in the background to keep you coming back to the game.
But it feels like, just the free game on your phone where everyone makes an account that's linked to your Facebook and you have your little army and you're like, oh, I'm challenging this army and then I'm challenging that army. That's what the overview of this game sounds like. That's where they've stolen it. Like, this works really well on a free game.
iOS.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but I had played the game for a fair few hours, like a fair amount. And I still haven't been able to... What was that?
I just shivered. I was like, oh.
to possess...
Now, so.
To possess or brainwash some of the orcs.
Okay.
The Uruks. Uruks?
Urukai.
But they say Uruks, I'm pretty sure. They don't say Urukai, because they're different.
Oh, really?
Than the Uruks. Yeah, so
maybe they've just got like a Cockney accent. They're just saying orc.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's some orc.
No, it's U-R-I-K or U-R-U-K. Uruk.
Uruk.
Yeah.
Uruk.
And
Why don't we just keep repeating it?
Uruk. And as I've been constantly like I just keep killing lots of the Uruks, going back and forth, just killing lots of them, and I'm just like, shit. If this is the only amount of Uruks that I can actually fight and brainwash, I've nearly narrowed them down to none, and haven't even possessed them all yet, like possessed anyone.
Yeah.
So, but I'm pretty sure that I've been told that there's like a second map. So I think after you get to the second map, you can start brainwashing and start getting to the big bosses, which look tough as shit.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool system. Like, it's just when anyone kills you, they'll just like, it'll zoom into them, you just get killed, and they'll just be like, I'll get a promotion for this one.
Oh, really?
And then like their standard character will then it'll go to the Nemesis like screen. Yeah. The standard character will then be like, ah, and then run up and then go to like a different spot where a captain spot is, and then they'll just be like, ah, like that, and all this armor will come on them, and they'll just look brutal. So there's just a lot of different characters, and then they just update like their images and how they look throughout the game as well.
So I've created like like they idolize the people that kill you, basically.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like if you get killed, you get leveled up. There was a section in the game, like right at the start, where I'd come across one guy, and like whenever they see you, they start saying shit to you. And I was like, cool, started fighting him, and then nearly died straight away. Another guy showed up, started saying shit, and then I died. So both of them started leveling up.
What kind of shit? Do they just try and hurt your feelings?
Just talking
pretty
rubbish.
much. Man flesh, I live to see your blood spill. And then the second time, they'd be like, the last time I saw you, it was silent after your death. It would be like that again, or just some random shit that they always say.
When you're like saying shit, I was just thinking in my head. I was just like, they were going, "I've seen shoes on a girl better than what you're wearing." You know?
they're a bit
That's
more.
not where your brain goes.
They're a bit more brutal than that. They're just like, "Nice girly pants, boy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, nice shirt. Do they make it for men? Well, they say it about his sword. They say that about his sword. Yeah. It's like, that's a nice sword for a girl.
Yeah. They would probably be better off saying, that's a nice sword for a... Hang on, what are you, a human?
Yeah.
For a human. And then all the other orcs would be like, oh, humans, weak.
Mad flesh.
every one of the slaves has the same character design, but they're just like... They look like you. Like, full shaved head, just Doug. Just typical Doug. That's what they look. All the slaves look like Doug, but just in slave clothes. So if Doug was in slave clothes, he'd look like
Doug
that.
is generic NPC character.
Dang.
Take off the glasses, but
level me up.
This class is a DLC.
Yeah. No, this is all the customized the characters. So it's like, he's got this, someone's got an earring, so it's a different guy.
Wow.
That's like horse armor,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like way back in Oblivion days.
But it is a really cool game. Like, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to steal it off Luke.
No, I do have a question. Like, yes,
Go for
I
it.
giggled before, but like, are there any like female characters in the game?
Is this some post that you read?
No. I'm interested to know because you've
There
played it. I'm
is-
just wondering if they're like, if it's literally just men fighting men, and they're like, ah,
Men fighting Uruk. Don't be racist.
or Uruk men fighting Uruk, or human men,
Males.
male.
Human
yeah,
man?
Is
Yeah,
there any?
I have not come across a male Uruk. And I've not...
You haven't come across a male.
I mean, a female Uruk.
Oh, okay.
God damn, I'm bad with words tonight. And then the only female that I've come across throughout any of the games so far has been your wife, and that's right at the start.
That dies.
Yes. Spoilers!
That's a bit shit.
Yeah, but apparently there's more on the second map. That's what I've read, so I haven't gotten up to that yet. I haven't finished the game.
Yeah.
Now, when we were talking... That's enough. Mordor, that's fine.
No. I do have a little bit more of
Jesus
Mordor and
Christ.
stuff.
That'll do,
Why do you
Luke.
keep stroking
That'll
your
do.
computer?
I'm
It's
just
just
playing.
oh,
It's
baby,
right here.
apple. Fruity.
So, okay, the story of Lord of the Rings... Cause,
You'd stop stroking
no,
your
just
fucking
from my-
computer.
from my computer. Okay, so Lord of the Rings, because it's based on the book more than the movies,
Yep.
the Middle-earth game is, because it's set before the...
Between Hobbit and...
Yeah, before
Yeah,
the Lord of
and
the
Lord of the
Rings.
Rings.
Yeah. Now, the basic story or overarching story of Lord of the Rings is that there is a ring which is extremely powerful and
This is a revelation to me, Lucas.
and and corrupts. With great power.
Comes great responsibility.
Well, it comes great responsibility, but also corrupts people and
Yep.
stuff like this, and they get a lot of power and they start corrupting and stuff, and it's about this big evil bad guy that has so much power that tries to take over the world and stuff. The basis of the game, okay, is that you're a person who his family is killed, okay, and you get the power from one of the ring wraiths or one of the wraiths, which is one
I don't even know if he's a ring wraith or not.
well, they become the ring wraiths later on. It's one of the 9.
Did you just spoil part of the game for me?
No, that was basically it's properly. Anyway, no, they don't become the wraith in the game. I'm pretty sure. So
What? No, what?
they're one of the 9. You know the ghosts?
Yeah.
The ghosts that you get some power from.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wraith.
They're one of the 9 human that have the power rings. So he brings you back from the dead.
Yeah.
Okay, basically.
Yeah.
So
I know
he's giving
this.
you this power of immortality. Okay.
No, you've been banished from, the afterlife. So that's why you haven't gone to...
Stop being dead. Go back to life.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it doesn't make sense until you learn more about the Wraith, which
Yeah.
I haven't. So
Yeah.
don't spoil it.
I'm not trying to spoil because I don't know
Yeah.
the final part of the game either. But it's funny that you're this person with huge power and power of regeneration.
I
and come
assume
back
you're
to life
making
and
a
stuff.
point.
Yeah, where is this going? Just get
Trying to
to
make a point that you literally go throughout the game just killing orcs.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a revenge game.
Yeah, it's
You're,
a revenge game.
You're avenging your
Yeah.
family's death.
I just find it interesting that they've taken it from the context of you look at the book context and
When
it's
they're
about
so good versus
orcs.
evil.
Yeah, orcs, the evil thing goes out killing humans and stuff like
Yeah.
this. You're the role reversal of that. Okay, so take the context of the book. You're basically the bad guy in this situation.
No, you're not.
Think about it. You're the person who's just slaughtering orcs in this.
Yeah, because
In the story of Lord of the Rings, it's not about slaughtering orcs. It's about defense. Okay.
Yeah,
From the
because-
orc invasion.
no
because
one's
Frodo's
actually-
a little bitch hobbit.
Huh?
Because Frodo's a little bitch hobbit and he
Yeah,
can't do
it's not
shit.
revenge. Revenge
It's not-
is generally not the motive of a main character.
Where you are and the area that you're in has been invaded from Uruks. So your whole land
Yeah.
has been destroyed by Uruks. So that's why you're going around killing every one of them, because they're relentless murderers. So you're going around and they've captured humans and all that as well. So it's not necessarily you're bad guys. You just doing what's good
I
for your
just
race.
find it interesting the difference between the
guy.
power.
Well, look, guess
He's
what
an
I've
Uruk
played
supporter over here.
this week. And I haven't killed any orcs this week. Do you know what I've played?
Tell us what have you played?
Well, I've already told you what I've played, so you should know. I've played Impossible Rush.
Impossible Rush.
As often happens when I don't play a lot of games during the week, I then end up playing games on my phone.
This is
But,
when Doug doesn't sell many
give us
things
a-
at his work.
I'll give-
Show us the game.
You've already seen it.
No, like
Have you
I
really
can't
not?
remember if it's quite the same one. So what are you doing?
Definitely. Well, you just asked me to show. I would have explained. Instead, you said, "Oh, show me on a podcast." Thanks, Luke, for that. So I'll explain rather than explain the game. I'm going to explain where I heard about the game. It's been on the televisions this week in Australia.
Yep. Everything's the.
It's been on the radio. It's probably been on the internet, on the interwebs, in the interwebs. So the whole idea of this and why it's gathering quite a bit of media or press at the moment is the concept come from a 15-year-old Aussie kid sitting in science class on board, drew up some sketches on Photoshop, just, yep, this is my concept for the game, flicked it to his friend, for some reason he has a friend in America, kid as well, that's handy at programming games. They made a game, being picked up by some marketer that I'm also confused how they knew. I'm going to email this kid. Someone's email address is on the app, on the App Store, so I'm going to email him.
Just
So,
like,
hello.
what's the game called?
Impossible Rush. So the whole concept of it is clean wipe. Probably the easiest way before even saying what the sort of game is. In terms of the style of gameplay and annoyance of the game, just think Flappy Birds. Like as in quick, here's your score that you've just made. Play it and see if you can beat it again. I think it's only on
It's
iOS.
Flappy Bird, by the way, not Flappy
Who
Birds.
cares, you pest.
I thought you were talking about Angry Birds for a
Oh,
second.
Flappy. Is it Flappy Bird? Anyway, so bottom of the screen there is a square. Square's divided up into 4 triangles. I can't remember what colours. Red, blue, green, yellow.
So CMYK.
Yep, there we go. A little ball falls from the top of the screen, falls towards your square. You tap the square and it rotates one turn.
Yep.
And you have to obviously just match. The ball that falls down can be yellow, green, red,
And it gets
blue.
faster as time progresses, I'm
Yep,
guessing.
and then you get a high score, you die. Now, the thing that yesterday was when I first heard about it. It was already, I believe, like number 3 on the Australian store. It's made at, I believe, like 16 in America and probably higher now as well.
Was the kid on Sunrise?
Yeah, it was on like a morning breakfast show.
Okay.
That's where I heard about it yesterday. Then
So he was
the
on it?
Yep.
Yep.
And he was on the radio this morning on Triple J. And then I was like, so yesterday it was at like over 300,000 downloads. I was thinking to myself, I was chatting to some people, why on earth? He's like, yeah, I've just done it. Like this marketer guy got it and he's promoted it for us. It's really cool, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he's going on to make some other app called One, which he wants to put all social networks into one thing.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
What, this kid?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just like, I made like a really simple game. Now I want to make something very
Well,
complicated.
it wasn't even. I don't think he programmed the game.
No.
Like his friend did. He came up with the game good design, which I guess is half the battle.
Yeah.
And then his friend just like punched it out in a day.
Shit.
But anyway, the first day I was like, whoa, why would you not ad support this? It's a free download, 300,000 downloads, and just knowing that the Flappy Bird, not plural, guy, made
So much
truckload
money
of
in
cash
revenue.
until he
It
got
was
too many.
at a point of $50,000 a day.
Yeah, it was in the last week, so which is crazy. But I thought to myself, geez, why would this kid have not ad supported it? Seems like, yep, really addictive game. I downloaded the game today. It is crazy ad supported, like way more annoying than Flappy Bird is. Like down the bottom of the screen. So iOS supports heaps of different styles of ads. It supports the down the bottom, which they use.
Yeah.
Every time you die, a full screen ad comes up.
Wow.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Now, on the radio this morning, he said they sort of pointed, oh yeah, so the guy that took this app, first day, $1,500 ad revenue he made. And obviously you'd assume from there it's only been north. The kid took a whopping $200 paycheck to give up his app.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it wasn't, from what I can read, he wasn't looking at launching it at all.
No.
So he must have showed someone and they must have been like, oh, looks alright.
can we sell?
What do you want, $200? He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
whether he was on forums or something, like spruiking around. It's pretty cool though. It's on the App Store. It's got his name. It's got his friend's name. Yep, cool. Except for the fact it's probably turned over like a couple $100,000 since it's been out.
Jesus.
And I just think to myself, like I assume, and they kind of hinted at it at the radio, and I guess it's really hard. It's not like you're going to have a kid on the radio and then destroy him and be nasty about it.
Yeah.
But they definitely pointed out the obvious thing that, like, so this guy made $1,500 in the first day. Definitely you were not getting as many downloads as it would be now. You know, geez, it's just, I feel like the kid has just been fleeced by, like, you know, what are the chances? He's just come up with a really cool design, like Flappy Bird. There's been so many mimics of it, and they've probably made money to an extent. But that first guy, like, with those sort of silly one-hit wonder games, you're not guaranteed to be able to do that again.
Yeah.
One of the guys I was chatting to today, he was like, "Oh, you can just make another one." I'm like, "But you can't. Like, how many one-hit wonder songs?" And I think this is worse than that. Like, it's just, it's the best thing. You made a game in no time at all. It was really simple. It was popular.
Yep.
And this was your one chance to make some serious coin. And if you was serious about developing other apps, you'd then have all the money to do that.
Yep.
And now this marketing guy apparently has promised to, like, help launch his next app, but it sounds like it's pretty ambitious. They think they'll be done in a couple of months, but it'd be a very difficult one compared to what they achieved with this game. So it's just like...
way different than just a simplistic, addictive game.
Like, I think good on him. Cool, they've come up with it, but I just feel this kid has been gypped. Like,
he has been.
Well, okay, so purchase the app and it got released, right? Okay, so you never know how much an app's going to make. $200 is actually a fairly decent amount of money to pay for just someone's idea of a program. A very simple program like this. It's fantastic that it's gone out and made a ton of money, but I'm only reading, like, snippets here, and yes, it seems that the guy who's making the money is investing in his other app. Okay, so a fair chunk of cash back into that one. His other app's called One, it's calling. But yes, you're right, it's a much bigger project.
So, but the marketing guy didn't do anything like that.
Well, I guess he must have got this in on... Like, I wonder how he... Like, what he did. I wonder if he's, like, been super viral with getting it around. Was he responsible for getting this guy on TV? I don't know. Like,
it says here the boys weren't even planning to release the app, but Austin told Fairfax Media that other friend Carlos Fajardo from New York City gave them $200 to take it off their hands and invest in marketing it to great success. Mr. Fajardo is listed as the app developer on the App Store, while the boys are listed as creators.
Who is the company that's got it?
Yeah, Carlos is up the top, but then they're on there as made by Austin and Ben.
See, there's one here which is Impossible Rush by APPNOXIOUS.
No, I don't know if it's made it to
Android.
Well, it's on Android. It's got 10,000 downloads on this, and then there's another one which has 10,000 downloads as well.
And they look very similar.
Well, this one, Impossible Rush Colors, looks just like Doug's.
Yeah.
Where the other
But
one
then the thing is,
different image.
if there's not an app version on Google, because it's all over the media, you'd be so clever, just go bang, copy, done.
Super simple, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
call it
such a
the same
simple
thing.
game. You'd get it like
The amount of mimicking that's on iOS is ridiculous.
all phones. It's just not very well.
Oh,
policed.
when Flappy Bird came out and then he took it down, everyone just went, holy
he just called
shit.
it Flappy Birds.
Damn it. Shut up.
But anyway, like, I'm not. Yeah, this was more like I've been playing a bit. It's one of those really cool. Like, I was sitting waiting for Thai food today, and I was like, "Yep, it was just a good thing to do for 5 minutes." Just I didn't have to think about work. There was not a lot of brain function going on. You're like, damn it, I died again. And you're like, "Yep, go again."
That's the ideal thing about iOS games and, like, phone games and stuff is that simple, really quick, like 30-second, minute game.
Go again.
Go again. Keep repeating and stuff.
In the long run, the thing is, like, the kid might have been gypped, but he was gypped legally.
Yeah, no
like,
doubt.
that's the thing, like...
But maybe this
if
guy's
you,
really going to help him launch his next
If
thing.
someone walked up to you and they said to you, they're like, I'm just really trying to get rid of this thing, they didn't know how much it was worth, and it was worth about, like, $300, and they're like, I want to get rid of it. And you're like, how much do you want? Like, you knew it was worth $300, and they're like, oh, $30. Would you buy it?
Oh, yeah.
Or would you say, oh, I'll give you more money? Or would you say, yeah, all right, I'll take it $30. Go to your mates and be like, this is awesome. Because just recently, there was, like, that shop that's down the road from our shop that was selling a GameCube. Now, I looked at it, I was like, oh, GameCube, cool. Looked at the price of it, I was like, whoa. So GameCubes go for maybe, like, for a full set, with the controller and all that, maybe like $80-$90, and it was in store for $10. So straight away, I just called Luke and I'm like, "You want a GameCube?" Like, we already got two at home, but I was just like, "Do you want another one?"
$10. Yep.
All right, $10. So I just called him up. And
It's
said,
all the
take it.
perception of value, and they're saying they're not feeling fleeced, but I don't know, maybe that's just a greed thing on my behalf. And you're right, like if they weren't prepared to market it themselves, then really an idea is only an idea until it's out there.
Yeah.
But they had created it, I guess, but if they weren't putting it out there, it was worth nothing.
So
Well,
if someone wants to sponsor next episode's podcast for $2,000, I would say let's negotiate and look at
give us
least
4.
3.5. You know,
If you think about it, that even comes down to the whole aspect of Halo. Do you reckon Halo would be as big as it was if it didn't come out on Xbox? Because it was originally made for Mac. Halo was going to come out on Mac.
Halo was launched, like the trailer and stuff for it was launched at Macworld the year before it came out on Xbox.
And who really talked about it? Who really knew about it?
That's the thing.
Like, it wasn't that big. And then when they started saying, let's release it for Xbox, they went, we can market this and go crazy.
That was
and
the
then they
launch
made
title
it
for Xbox.
their freaking game. Like, that's their mascot.
Yeah.
That's Xbox.
Yeah, true.
Master Chief.
But either way, like I suppose it's hard because you never know the full circumstances of anything.
I think
And
they paid
like-
a
Just say,
little
did
bit,
you really need that $200? Yeah. Just had to pay a parking fine.
I think they paid a little bit more than $200 for Halo, though.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
But I hope like it all works out for the kid and stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. Look at Doug being all caring. Doug, just send him a check now, all right?
It's
Seriously.
like, dude, I feel pretty bad. Here's $20. Do you want to give me your next thing?
But furthermore, that style game, and I'm sure it's because obviously they have more potential to sell more, like because people download it because it's free. Before, damn in-game ads, like I would have probably just paid $1 for the game. Like if it was a cool little game.
You're the only person.
That brain functions up.
The percentage of people that play ad-free games to paying for the games is so vastly different.
Yeah, I know, obviously.
Yeah.
But or this would be the only in-app purchase that I'm fine with is the premium version
this
of
one.
it. That is the I hate any game you go to it and
This is the
So
most...
you would go to a point in this game where you would say, I would rather just not have ads and just play this game instead of just deleting the game and being like, all right, this is just pissing me off. Because that's what I did with most of the free games. Flappy Birds, that's what I did with bloody, what is it, 2048?
for $1.19 I would pay for a game. Yep.
This guy. He's got just money to give it out.
No,
give out to everyone.
He's not paying for the game. He's
Why don't you
paying,
just buy Bungie?
he's paying for removing ads.
That's annoying me so
See,
much.
I've got Reddit now, which is an app on the Androids. And it's like, it's got ads, but I just deal with it.
Yeah, some of the
I've thought about buying the full version, and I
there's
just
a
cannot
paid
be bothered.
version.
Yeah, there's a paid version. Gets rid of apps, and you have a couple of extra features, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
mainly ads.
Yep, doesn't get in my way too much.
Talking about ad-free entertainment,
That's us.
PlayStation is releasing its first TV show.
We are practically
soon.
a complete ad. This podcast is we're advertising video games the whole way. So we are an ad.
If you want to appear as an
We're
ad
actually
on this podcast,
Our
please
podcast
contact us.
actually goes at the start of YouTube videos. The whole thing. 40-minute ad, what?
Yeah, has that been happening to anyone a lot lately? Like I've been watching a few trailers on the YouTubes,
Yep.
and so you want to watch a trailer, and then there's a 4-minute trailer of a movie at the start. I was like,
So
what?
annoying. The
and
ad, and you can't click skip.
And you know what movie, like, specifically is... I've said specifically a lot in this podcast, but the movie that has popped up a lot for some reason, maybe, I guess it has my age because of Gmail, but is the new God one with Sam Worthington and Christian Bale. I don't know what it's called, where Christian Bale is Moses. Probably called Moses. But no, it's not called Moses. But has anyone seen
I
that?
didn't even know that was a movie.
Yeah, it looks like a huge like blockbuster
Yeah.
movie, all action based and such.
Christian Bale as Moses.
Yeah.
Sam Worthington as not Moses.
No, he's just the Pharaoh half brother or whatever the story is.
Sam Worthington
Who's
as
that?
the Pharaoh half
I don't
brother.
know. They're like, I don't know. I'm not going to butcher the Bible right now. Let's move on. But that ad keeps popping up so much, and it's like, 2 minutes 30. And I have watched it one time because I'd purposely had never decided to watch it. As like I'm going through trailers online, and I'm like, I'd see the little snippet from it.
Like maybe if I watch the whole
because I was
ad,
like, I
it'll
don't
go
want
away.
to watch Christian Bale in another movie. I'm like, no, you're done. But and then it just popped up. It's a pre-trailer to the trailer I was going to watch. I'm like, I'll watch it.
I got to a point with YouTube that
A 40-minute ad is too long?
I started to think that when you watch the ad, you got premium like data streaming from YouTube. Like, you know how if you click skip ad, for some reason, like I would skip ad and then the movie would play up to a certain point and then stop and then you'd have to refresh and then but if you watched the ad, it would play all the way through.
Your video loads while you're watching the ad as well.
No, but it still
In the
only loads
background?
up to a certain point. Like, I know you can go and change that and stuff, but I'm saying that I used to see, and I don't know if it was just something which I would see, or like I just noticed or just made it up in my head, but like the video would load faster after you watched the ad, and everything like that as well. Like, like
I probably just wasn't on the internet at the time.
And your internet
back at
sucks
home.
at your house, so.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I reckon that's been about 40 minutes, Lucas.
it's close, but we.
Shut up, Doug. We got more.
But next week we'll probably talk about, because I don't know if you guys watched the trailer for Powers, the PlayStation's first TV show, which is coming out for PlayStation Plus members.
Ooh, I didn't. I'd seen the snippet of it.
Which has the guy from...
Sharlto Copley,
No,
District 9.
District 9
Yeah.
with a really strange accent.
I know, yeah.
He's talking.
He's one of my
So they're
favourite-
having a PlayStation exclusive.
So, you know how when
show.
Microsoft did their press conference at E3 and said, hey, we are an entertainment system, we've got TV shows that we're making just for the Xbox, blah, blah, like the Halo TV show and stuff.
What, is that only on Xbox?
It's potentially it was going to be, but I'm pretty sure they've signed a deal with Warner Brothers now, which is now going to be across the board, so it's just going to be a TV series.
But they'll have exclusive DLC.
Whereas,
For 30 days.
Whereas PlayStation
Different hats.
didn't really push that too much, but just slid it in there somewhere and said, "Yeah, we got some TV shows happening too." So I wasn't really excited.
That are
about
actually going to come out.
Well, the trailer's there, so I wasn't too excited about the Halo TV series, but this show I'm really excited about.
So is this just an original IP, nothing to do with any of their...
Completely original. Yep. It's about
It's free for PlayStation Plus subscribers. That's what I read.
to watch. It's about a person who has had superpowers, all right, but lost their superpowers and has now signed up with like a special police task force to go and
Every time.
to go and take down like supervillains. You know, people that have powers that are doing bad stuff. Okay, but because he's had powers before, he can think like a power person, and they call them powers. All right, stop just making weird faces. All right, okay, and like so he can think like a power, one of those people, and try and take them out. So we'll watch the trailer,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Well, Doug hasn't yet, so.
So I don't do anything. I just turn up, bring a unique perspective of not knowing what's going on.
today.
Yeah. I'm pretty much as useful as a 13-year-old girl on this podcast. Like, yeah, I've played some games and I was on Candy
There probably
Crush.
might be a lot of 13-year-old girls that
there's
might
a
listen to our podcast, Doug, and now they're just switching off, just like our one Canadian supporter that there was. Now he's gone, and now the 13-year-old girls are gone.
We'll find out what happens next week. It's I guess.
Well, I apologise to the 13-year-old girls.
There was a infographic that I read that there is...
An infographic?
Info?
Is that like an infomercial?
I think
If it was graphics.
I think the percentage of gamers, 59% are
13-year-old
females.
girls.
Female.
Yeah.
And 13-year-old.
And
Yeah.
41% are male.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's when you take in like the whole broad spectrum of gaming.
86% of them are overweight.
Doug just keeps dissing everyone. Everyone out there is a fat person.
You're a horrible person.
That's probably not that far just from
No, well,
Australians.
let's just say, to clarify
Aussies.
with Doug, it's probably in their BMI, and we all know BMI's bullshit, so...
If they're on We Fit, it
if
would
they
be bullshit.
say they're overweight, and they're probably not overweight, and then they're going to get self-conscious, just don't
And
worry
do
about
they
it.
use their Wii Fit on carpet because it changes? But I think for
You
the
know the Wii
positive,
Fit, like when you stand on it,
Yeah.
it adjusts your me character to your. It just kept
That's
going
it.
for me. I stood up and just goes. "Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do."
It's like, adjust your screen's width resolution.
where you got to push it out on the edges.
You fat!
Oh shit!
36 is too
All
big.
right, who are you?
I'm Douglas Bright,
I'm Reese Whittingsworth.
And I'm Lucas Winnick.
and this is the
Trusty Crowbar.
bitches.
Oh,
Stop insulting everyone! Terrible human being. Farewell.